Yeah, you're punk enough. Oh yeah, that's good enough for me.
Welcome to episode 15 of the Almost Punk Enough podcast. This is also going to be part one of our 2026 Bad Time Records interview series. This series, we're going to talk to a bunch of the bands and artists on the tour. We'll talk to the founder of Bad Time Records, and he's also the person responsible for putting the whole tour together. We'll talk about what kind of songs you might hear, what some of the bands are looking most forward to, some of the tour merch that's available. Hopefully, this just gets you excited to come check out the tour. And if not, you learn some more, hopefully, about one of the bands or the artists on the tour. Thanks so much for listening, and I really hope you enjoy it. All right, well, we're here joined today with Mike Sosinski of Bad Time Records and the band Kill Lincoln, and also Uncle Style Records. Thank you so much for joining us today on the
Yeah,
Almost Punk Enough podcast.
thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Um, so you run both a record label and a private record label, and you're in a band, which isn't that uncommon for like a private label to be run by someone in a band. But I've always kind of wondered, is there one that you're more proud of, or one that you prefer, or is it equal? Is it like if you
Hmm.
had to just choose one and you had to give the other one up, is that possible?
Wow, between the band or the label, so choose one.
Yeah,
It's like
if
asking
someone,
me to.
yeah, well, if someone asks you like, what do you do for a living? Which one do you say, or do you always say both?
Well, that's a completely different question, right?
Yeah,
Because sometimes it is easier to say, "Oh, I'm in a band," because
yeah.
people kind of get that, but they also don't get that at all. But I don't think I could make a choice between picking one or the other. That's really tough. They're both completely different things, right? I mean, the
Yeah.
the label is definitely a passion project, but it's also it's a business. It's completely different. It's something I can do every day, but the band, I feel like I can't, it's not something I'm doing every day, but it's also a bigger passion project, right?
hmm
So it's
hmm
and it's music, it's performing. That's I don't make me choose, please. I can't choose.
Okay, well, we'll
Um,
call it equal then. So I guess the big question is that the tour starts in less than a week. Are you
mhm.
ready?
That's no. Yeah, it's coming up really fast. It feels like for a long time it was so far away, and then all of a sudden it's a couple
hmm
days. I got to fly out to Denver and start this thing. Yeah, I never feel totally ready. As much as I practice or work out or try to whatever, like that first show, we always joke like within the first 10 seconds of the first show, we're always all out of breath. And like, we're just, you
Sure.
always go too hard, you get too excited, and it's impossible to be ready. So it's really that first couple shows that kind of get you back into tour mode. And it'll happen really fast and it'll be, but do I feel ready? No, I don't. I don't feel ready. No, not at all.
Well, this is like the second, I guess, big Bad Time Records tour.
hmm
What do you want people to know most about this one?
Well, yeah, the first one was a big deal for us because it went so much better than we all expected. I think one of the biggest things was we proved to ourselves that just a bunch of bands on the label could, play these shows and sell out these rooms that we never thought we could sell out, and especially couldn't do on our own. Like
Mm-hmm.
we'd play a room that Kill Lincoln or Watu or Catbite definitely couldn't sell it on their own, but together we realized we could do it. And we're basically doing that all over again, and we're already seeing that it's kind of working. Kill Link and Chair and Bad Operation. We've all toured the West Coast and all over. Well, actually, Bad Op hasn't, but we toured in a lot of these places. But to see the response when we all get together and having some of these shows already sold out is crazy to me and to all of us. So I guess what do I want people to know about this? I don't know. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fun, and when all of us get together, we're all friends, and the vibes are always good. It's always a good time. So I think people will experience that firsthand for sure.
Well, the last Bad Time tour, you put out like a live record
Hmm.
afterwards. That I believe was recorded on the tour, and then
Hmm.
of course there was the documentary. This is New Tone,
Hmm.
which was really cool.
Hmm.
But for this one, I think looks like you did like a pre-tour record where you're putting out a release before the tour, and
Yeah.
there are some new tracks for some songs, and some that are not necessarily new, but maybe the first time on vinyl. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
You want to talk about the record that
Yeah.
the record? And I think you can get it with like a shirt too, a tour shirt.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've always been a big fan of compilations, and one thing that I kind of missed on the first tour was to have more like tour specific things that
Mm-hmm.
people could take home with them, right? Like we had posters and stuff, but we didn't have tour T-shirts, and everybody was like, "Why don't you have a tour shirt? Why don't you have this? Why don't you have a compilation?" I was like, "Okay." So yeah, the compilation it features all the bands that are going to be on the tour throughout the multiple legs of it through the spring and
Mm-hmm.
the summer. And yeah, it is mostly new tracks. There's new tracks from Half Past Two and Omnigon and the Doom Stompers. And then bands like Bad Op and Kill Lincoln and Jer, a couple of those tracks, yeah, have never been on vinyl and are kind of like B-sides. But I really just wanted to have something that would get people excited uh, for the tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that when they're on the tour, they can go and pick up something new that features all the bands, so they could kind of like walk away with something, that was a memento of the tour, but it was also new music, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to later on doing a comp that had all the live stuff. So for this tour, we're not, we're not doing the movie, so we're not doing, we're not recording every single show, so there won't be a live compilation. So this
Mm-hmm.
comp that's available now is the official Bad Time tour compilation. And yeah, it's all new music. So, and I think you'll
Yeah.
probably hear a lot of those songs on the tour. So
Okay. Yeah.
should be a good tie-in.
Yeah. I saw this. So for Kill Lincoln, you did your East Coast "Fuck You," which is
Yeah.
the Bouncing Souls cover, correct?
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
What was the reason behind that choice?
Oh, so a bunch of us are from New Jersey, and thusly we are big Bouncing Souls fans. We actually have covered the Bouncing Souls before. We did that song a couple years ago, and yeah, we love that song. We love East Coast Fuck You
Mm-hmm.
and that song. And in the studio, we had some extra time. We were like, what's something we could pull off like pretty easily that we all just know and can turn
Mm-hmm.
into a Kill Lincoln version pretty fast. And that's what came up. And Tyler, our drummer, actually sings it. It's the first and only Kill Lincoln song that he sings. So it's kind of a neat little Easter egg.
All right.
And yeah, it's a fun song to play.
So the headlining bands are obviously Kill Lincoln, Dur, and
Mhm.
Bad Operation, and then there's
Hmm.
the supporting bands. How did you go about choosing who would be what stops? It kind of looks like maybe that it's more regional. It was that kind of the thought process?
Yeah, some of it was okay, well, which band is from this region that could easily, jump on the shows and not have to, do a lot of travel
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But also in some of the legs, it was like, well, what band hasn't been in this area in a
Mm-hmm.
long time? So for when we're doing the Midwest, I asked the best of the worst if they could do it because they just haven't been there in years. And they weren't available for the East Coast leg.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, let's mix it up a little bit. But mostly I wanted to try to get some of the bands that weren't able to be involved in the 2023 tour, or maybe didn't have a release on the label yet, or for whatever reason weren't able to, open some of those shows. I want to get a new crop of bands involved for this one as much as we
Mm-hmm.
could. So, a band like the Pomps played one show on the 2023 tour, so I wanted to give them a chance to do a couple shows on this tour. So they're doing all the East Coast dates. Then we've got Flying Raccoon Suit going down south. They weren't
Mm-hmm.
on Bad Time yet when we did that
Mm-hmm.
tour last
Yep.
time. So
Yep.
it's just an opportunity to get some new bands in the mix and get some bands to places where they haven't been in a little bit.
I believe Half Past Two was also a new one, right?
Yeah, Half Past
They
Two
weren't on the label yet either, right?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
it felt like a good opportunity to get them, in some of their hometown shows. So they're doing OC in LA and San Diego. So it's great to have them on board too.
yeah. Is there a venue or a city that you're looking to forward the most?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, thinking about this first leg, I love playing shows in Denver, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the first night of the tour. It's already sold out. Denver is always great, so I am really looking forward to playing there. Although for the first show of the tour and it being in Denver, I think anybody who tours into Denver knows that it's a rough place to just show up and play because of the elevation. So for first night of
Uh,
tour and for the elevation, we might be a little
yeah,
we might be gasping for breath a little bit,
you
but we'll
did
be all
mention
right.
you might be out of breath, so I didn't think
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
elevation.
Yeah, we might get a little passy outy, but we'll be okay. But I am looking forward to that, and a bunch of the others too. I mean, we get to play Gilman Street. I love playing at Gilman. There's so many on the East Coast. I'm looking forward. I love DC, Black Cat. I
Mhm.
can't wait to go and play in
That's a great
Chicago.
great venue. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Black Cat's one of
Mm-hmm.
my favorite all-time venues. Yeah, we're lucky we get to play a lot of great places on
Mm-hmm.
this tour.
Yeah, I'm actually in the Charlotte area, and so I'm happy to see
Oh
that you're coming to the Charlotte area on
yeah,
this tour.
yes.
However, if I do have one small complaint, I'm not at all familiar with the venue, but I do notice it's not an all ages venue, so I can't bring my daughter. It was my
Is
only
it the
complaint.
milestone?
Yes,
Is
yeah,
it
it's
yeah, I think that was one of the only rooms on the whole tour we couldn't book all ages just
yeah,
because we're trying to go to Charlotte and there's just
sure,
like a lack of spots. So
sure,
we
yeah,
really do try to do all ages shows when we can. I
okay,
think it, you should check. I mean, it might be with Legal Guardian. You could bring somebody. I don't know. I can double check on that for you after the podcast.
sure, sure,
I'll reach out and find
sure.
out. But,
And then I see this kind of maybe the tour is broken up into like two legs. There seems to
hmm
be you're going to go out in like next week in March, and then
hmm
April and May you don't have anything, and then June and July. Is that
Well,
just what you could get, or is there a reason why there's like that 2 month break there?
so actually we're doing March, but then in April we're going to the UK. So Kill
Oh,
Lincoln and
okay,
Omnigon are doing
okay,
a bunch of shows in the UK. We're doing Manchester Punk Festival, and then we do June. And then we actually have more. There's a third leg in August. And the point of splitting it up is so that we could do things like go to the UK in the middle and
okay.
hit Manchester Punk
Hmm.
Fest. But also, I think I'm at a time in my life where I don't want to be on the road for
Hmm.
more than two
Yep.
weeks. It's just, I really don't. It's a lot, going out for 10 days is 10 shows. You wind up being out for 2 weeks and it's a
Hmm.
lot. And a lot of us work other jobs and, I can't run the label if I'm away for too
Hmm.
long. And, yeah, I'll already come back to a mound of customer service emails and angry and nice folks. So, yeah, we just kind of made a decision where that's as much as we want to do in one go, and that gets us to pretty much everywhere we want to be,
Hmm.
and we can still reach a lot of these cities we haven't been to in a long time, so it works out for everybody.
Well, speaking about the label, I guess what's new with Bad Time Records? I see Sorry Sweetheart just put out their debut release,
Yeah,
which they're also, I believe, on the tour also.
they are. They're going to open up the first four shows, so from Denver through Portland, I believe. Sorry, Sweetheart's going to be on. Yeah, so we just put out the Sorry Sweetheart record. We announced that compilation that we were just talking about, and there's going to be a bunch more releases this year. When is this podcast airing? I guess maybe I can. Do you know what date this will actually air? Because maybe I could give you some more
Uh,
tidbits.
I do not know, but
Well, this one, the next release is getting announced
uh,
on Friday. So even if you put this out on Friday, that's
okay,
fine. And that's a new record from Bad Operation, which I'm really
mm,
excited about. They put,
okay, yeah, it won't be out
yeah,
before Friday, so
yeah.
we can
So
go
the
ahead
new
and
Bad
announce that.
Operation record is
That
coming out. That's long
okay,
awaited. I think
great,
everyone's been waiting for the follow up to their
hmm
2020 record for a long time.
yes,
So it's called Everything Must Go. It's amazing. If you're listening to the podcast, I'm sure the single's out right now. Freedom is the first single, so go check that out. It's a long
hmm
time coming for Bad Op for new music. So it's exciting that it lines up right with the tour. So they've got the new record. They'll be out on the road playing a bunch of these new
hmm
songs, and you can get the record on the tour and all that good stuff. So yeah, really, really excited about that one. That's a long time coming.
Well,
Nice.
I'm
Don't you tell
excited about
anybody
that.
until Friday.
Big fan,
You got
big
the
fan.
scoop.
Um, so speaking of the records, how does a small independent label make money these days? Is it mostly like vinyl? I,
That's
I know you have like the record club deal. Is it vinyl, or is it because most people assume are streaming or downloading music? They're not buying CDs or
well, that's the
cassette
neat
tapes like
part.
they
You
used to.
don't. You don't make any money. Well, I mean, it's a little bit of everything. I feel like you have to get all of the pieces together because individually they don't support anything. So if you're just selling vinyl, that's
Hmm.
barely going to break you even on pressing the vinyl sometimes, unless
Hmm.
you're selling every single unit right away. So there's also, there's Bandcamp digital sales, which is a huge way to support the label and the
Hmm.
bands and the releases. Streaming is a very tiny,
Is that
tiny little piece,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah. Is Bandcamp what you'd want to promote if people wanted to buy digital albums? Is that where the labels and artists get the most
For
money,
as
or is
far
there a
as
better
buying a
option?
digital release, yes. If you want to buy the release
Hmm.
digitally, the
Okay.
best way to do it is through Bandcamp. Every vinyl you
Okay.
buy comes with a Bandcamp code, so you always get the digital. And
Okay.
I would say if you are a real big fan of the band, even if you don't have a record player, go buy the record because it's that is really
Mhm.
significant. And that's a really good way to support the label and the band. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You gotta be all over the place. You gotta be getting even the little bit of streaming income helps. Every little bit helps.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's merch sales. I've been doing a lot of whatnot auctions and then, stuff like that.
Mhm.
So you gotta get creative. But yeah.
Do you want to talk about your
Yeah, the
your
record
record
club
club?
is something I've been doing for, I guess this is the fifth year, maybe sixth year. But yeah, at the end of every year, once I have a really good idea of what's coming out the next year, I'll put up the record club. And this year, at one point we had it up to 250 people, and I decided that was just too much. That was a lot. It
Okay.
was, oh, there's a lot of, I could really get into it, but between having that many records accounted for, at a steep discount because I give the record club a nice discount, and then having to do all the shipping and that
Mm.
many orders a year, blah 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 blah. 250 was too much, so I scaled it back. So this year's record club's 150 people, so they get, the coolest variant, the most exclusive variant of each release, automatically shipped to them throughout the year. And I think this year they get six releases. Maybe it's seven. I think you get six plus there's a bonus EP, a 7 inch, that's exclusive to the record club this year, which I'm really excited about. It's the first time we've ever done something like that. So yeah, it's awesome. It's a great way to support the label and to, if you have confidence and faith in bad time, and you're like, you know what, I'm buying all this stuff anyway. You get everything at a nice discount, so you save a little bit of money. So look out for that. I usually announce the record club in November, and it sells out within a day or two. So if you're not in the record club and you're interested, join the email list.
Well, well, you can't go wrong if you're into ska or ska punk because your roster is
I
just
appreciate that.
it's
Yeah.
incredible. The bands that you have, not just new bands, but people who've
Yeah.
been around forever. Like Mustard Plug and
Yeah.
Joe Gittleman and stuff. In addition to the newer bands, I still call Cat by the newer
They're
band,
pretty
even though they're
they're
not really
relatively
that new
new in the
anymore. But
grand scheme of things. Yeah, I'm so incredibly fortunate that this group of bands has all kind of coalesced around this label, and I don't know, I kind of pinch myself when I look at the roster sometimes, and going out and doing this tour, it's like almost too easy to think about, oh, okay, what bands we put on the tour? It's like, well, let's look on the roster, and it's like, wow, this lineup of bands is sick. It's just,
mm-hmm.
yeah, it's all come together over the past couple of years, and I just feel really lucky. I feel like sometimes I don't really even have it. I'm not like pulling the strings on all this stuff. It just kind of, I had an idea, I put the label together, I put a name to it, and now everyone's kind of rallied around it, and I feel really fortunate about that. So, yeah.
When you sign a band or decide to work with an artist, is it all about the music? Is it more about the message? Is it more about the people, or is
Yeah.
it will you sign a artist or group that maybe you're not crazy about the music, but you like But do you think other people would like it, and you're into the person or the message? I mean, how do you make those
It's always
decisions?
case by case, and I wish I could give you a percentage, be like it's 60% music and 20%, but it's really not. It's kind of like I've always trusted my gut on people and
Mm-hmm.
tried to trust my gut on music that I like. And there's a lot of things that go through my head when a band reaches out, or I get an email with new music, and I try to listen to everything that's sent to me. And yeah, there's a lot of different factors that come into play. Is it somebody I know? Are they friends of friends? Is somebody have, what do they do for their local scene? Like, do they have a local following? How are they in the DIY community? Are they really like kind of lifting up bands in their circle? Like, is the music good? Like, there's just a million different questions, and it's different for every band. It's also a lot about timing. Like I've had to pass on great bands with great records just because of timing. I tend to fill out
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
schedule pretty far in advance, and if a band comes to me with something great, and I'm like, well, I'd love to put it out, but you got to wait a year. I understand when a band doesn't want to do that, so there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different
Sure.
factors, and but it all comes down to my gut, I guess. That's really what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Are we gonna get any more of the Wave
That's a tough
Breaker
question to
compilations?
answer. I'm not sure. I think that was a really cool idea, and there's nothing in the works at the moment for Wavebreaker. It got a little complicated, and I think some people started to get the wrong idea of what it was about, and I'm not naming any names. But yeah, it was it got a little complicated, and so
Mm-hmm.
I decided, well, let me just focus on putting out new LPs and kind of stuff like that. But I'm not ruling out going back to it. I think it was a cool, and I'm really proud of each release that we put out. I mean, some of the coolest bucket list things I could ever imagine, doing a record, Kill Lincoln and Less Than Jake, that's like incredible. Put Catbite and Mike
Mm-hmm.
Park together, fucking incredible. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like,
That was a
and then the
great,
Bad
yeah.
Up and Joe one and the Best, the Worst and Folly, like amazing. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not counting it out, but there's no plans at the moment, so it's just complicated. Yeah.
Gotcha. I think I mentioned earlier, but maybe not when we were recording. But I believe you're originally from the like DC area, or the Kill Lincoln
Yeah.
is listed from there, and then the Bad Time Records started in Alameda, California, I believe, and now you're back on the East Coast. Are you back on the
So I'm
DC area,
originally
or
from New
what,
Jersey, and
New
then
Jersey?
Kill
Okay,
Lincoln is from DC. I formed Kill Lincoln when I was going to school
hmm
there. So there's that DC, and then I moved to
okay,
California. Kill Lincoln went on hiatus, but then we got back together. I formed Bad Time while I was in California. And then I moved back about 2 years ago to the East Coast. And now I'm up in New York. So yeah, not in the DC
okay.
area anymore, but much closer to DC and the rest of the Kill Lincolns. So it makes that a little bit easier. But I've been all over the place. Yeah, it's tough to keep it together. Yeah.
Anyways, moving on, I guess
Mhm.
to Kill Lincoln. What's new with Kill Lincoln? Your last music LP was No Normal, which
Yeah.
was 2024. So I guess what's new? Or is there new music coming out from
Uh,
Kill
the
Lincoln?
the
Anything
newest
else?
thing in Kill Lincoln world is the tons of shows we have going on this year. I mean, there's the Bad Time Tour, so we're hitting a lot of spots that we haven't hit as a band in a long time. I don't think Kill Lincoln went to the West Coast at all last year, which is weird because we've gone pretty much every year for the past couple of years. Yeah, going back over to the UK. We're going to Canada this year. We're doing a festival in Canada, and then we're doing a show with the Suicide Machines in Quebec. And yeah, there's no music, no new music on the horizon at the moment that I can talk about. But you never know. It's sometimes after No Normal, it was like, all right, I've got that out, and that consumed a whole year of my life, between like the writing and recording and the wrangling and all that stuff and getting a
Mm-hmm.
record out. And now I'm like, all right, now I can focus on bad time again. So it's tough for me to do both at the
Hmm.
same time. And I know a lot of people are good at it and prolific songwriters and whatnot, but I can either focus on this thing or I can, if everybody is cool with me like taking a, you know, 3 month break from bad time, maybe I can write some new Kill Lincoln songs, but not,
Hmm.
not at the moment.
Well, that kind of circles back to my
Mm.
my original first question was, what's, the whole balancing between being in a
It's a
band
tough
versus running
balance.
the
Yeah,
label.
it's tough. For me, it's, the label doesn't take a break while I'm out on tour with Kill Lincoln. It's like I still need to keep things moving there. But it is really tough to balance. And creatively, that's the toughest balance. We can still go out and play shows, but it's just when I'm having, when it's like a busy day or busy week and I'm doing mail order, I'm doing all kinds of other stuff, business for the label, it's tough for me to find time to just kind of sit and write music. So that's the thing that kind of takes the biggest hit. But I've made it work, and when inspiration strikes, it strikes. So I just gotta stay open to it. But it's tough. Yeah, it's a tough balance.
I did a roll of dice interview for That's Good Enough for Me back in
Hmm.
2022. And one of the questions I asked you was about the band's name and about, being
Yes.
in the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And you had said that you hadn't even seen the movie yet.
I
Have you
haven't
seen the
seen the
movie
movie.
since
No,
then?
the guy who named it, Tyler named the band,
No?
and he's seen the movie. I never saw the movie. No, I have not yet. I know.
Oh, that's
Poser
awesome that you
Poser
still haven't
Central
seen it.
over here. Like, no, never seen it. It's on my list. It's on my to-do list.
Are you the primary songwriter driving creative force behind Kill
Yeah,
Lincoln,
I
or
do
is
most
it
of the songwriting.
more?
Between me and Matt
Okay.
Ellis, Food, the sax player, we kind of bounce ideas off of each other. But I think more often than not, I'm kind of starting things off with an idea or two or something like that. And um, but yeah, that's yeah. Between the two of us, that's where most of everything comes from.
Mhm. You being a guitar player, my daughter plays guitar. I very dabbled in it a little bit. I'm definitely
Me
not a guitar
neither,
player, but
but
she want she wanted some more effects pedals, and I started to get kind of a collection, not a collection, but more of a
yeah,
infatuation with effects pedals. You being a guitar player, do you have a favorite effects pedal or one that's your go-to,
no.
or
I'm
are you
really,
even into
I
them? Do
I
you
feel
even
like
use
there's
them?
gonna be a point in my life where I'm gonna become a big effects pedal guy. But I'm not there yet. I've never been like into, like a lot of the technical aspects of. I mean, I've got my preferences for guitars and amps and all that kind of stuff. But
Hmm.
when I play with Kill Lincoln, it's like, does it have clean? Does it have dirty? Does it sound good? Okay, cool. That's good enough for me. But Yeah, I don't have a favorite pedal. My tuner pedal. I think a tuner pedal is very important. And yes,
Yeah.
start there. Start with a tuner pedal. That's a good one.
um, is there anything else in 2026 that you want to promote? Any other tours for any of the other bands outside of the Bad Time
Yeah, I
Records
mean,
tour?
all the bands on the label are always busy. I mean, go look at like Catbite. They're not on this year's Bad Time tour,
Mm-hmm.
but they're doing a lot of shows. They're doing a bunch of shows with the RX Bandits coming up throughout the
Mm-hmm.
spring, and they're going to be doing some other great stuff. So keep an eye on Catbite. But yeah, all the bands are going to have different stuff announced. I don't have it all in my head right now what everyone's doing, unfortunately, but.
Mm-hmm.
But stay tuned, and you can always join the mailing list, which I try to shoot out an email at least every Friday to let everybody know what kind of shows are coming up and all that.
Okay, well, I think we're just
Cool.
about done here. Thanks so much again for joining us, and make sure everyone goes out and if there's still tickets available, get your tickets for the Bad Time tour because, like you said, many of them are selling
Yeah.
out or sold out already. And thanks again so much for joining us, and I'll be seeing
Yeah,
you
I'll
at the
find
Charlotte
out.
show.
I'll find out if
So.
maybe we can make an exception and get your daughter there too. Well, thanks so
All right.
much.